Hi, my name is Lily Stiles. I'm the strength and conditioning trainer for the 2020 Toronto Bulldogs hockey team, and today I'm here with our team's head coach and team leader, Jamie Williams. Today we're going to give you the inside tips on what makes our hockey team number one, as demonstrated by our exclusive seasonal training program. We'll cover everything from technical and tactical development, like skating, shooting, and passing, all the way to what you can do off of the ice to have a team set up for the most success.
So now we'll get into some of the basics regarding our team and our athletes. Our team is a spring hockey team playing in multiple tournaments leading up to the Brick Invitational Tournament, which takes place between June 28th and July 4th of 2020. The Brick Tournament requires all athletes to be born in a given year, and this year it happens to be 2010, meaning all of our athletes are either 9 or 10 years of age. Our team is made up of 16 boys, all very experienced in hockey. We have 13 of our 16 players returning from last year's development team, meaning the majority of the team knows each other and their styles of play. The majority of tournaments are played at the elite level, which has the best teams from across the province and further. In regular season, AAA is the highest that players can play, but in spring tournaments, Elite takes the best from AAA and puts them head to head. The Brick Tournament is at the international level as teams come from across different provinces and states around Canada and the USA, but players are scouted from and travel from all over the world to be on these teams, meaning that our players will be playing against the best of the best from this age group. Now we'll talk a little more about our athletes and their developmental level.
Canada's long-term player development model suggests that our 9 to 10-year-old male hockey players should be in the learn to play category, but with their experience and level of opponents, they easily qualify to be in the train to compete or even the train to win category. Our athletes are competing at the highest level against the best players in the world at their age level. The Learn to Play group consists of small-sided games and learning basic skills of hockey. Our athletes are far past learning the basic skills and therefore do more refining and progressions of those skills.
With that being said, we will now talk about some of the skills that are important for our athlete's success in the sport of hockey. Some of the physical skills include things like multi-directional speed, which can be exemplified by the ability to deke and move around defenders and goalies to get in a better position to score goals. Power, which can be exemplified by the ability to make a hard shot. And speed endurance, which can be shown by players who are moving at full speed for an entire shift, which on average lasts about 45 seconds. As well as these, there are other physical skills like anaerobic lactic stamina, whole body speed, and core strength, which are also important. Motor skills like agility and coordination are important for being able to move around the rink with ease, as well as making plays in the right order at the right time. With our team, we often have set plays where athletes are required to be in a certain place and make a certain move. It is important that they know what to move at the right time. Technical skills like attentional control and emotional control are important for our athletes' stage of development as they are still young and might not know what to look for on the ice or how to control themselves in varying situations. Although they are at a higher level of hockey, they are younger and still do need that help.
Now we'll go over some of the goals for the season. We've broken up our goals into what we hope to accomplish over the different macro cycles of the season. On a general basis, there are different stakeholders who each have their own goals. The parents of our athletes generally want our athletes to have fun, stay safe, and win games. Us, the coaches, have the same general goals with the addition of furthering the development of athletes. In the preseason specifically, we want to develop the physical abilities of the athletes through on-ice and dry land training, develop tactics and different plays we hope to use during the season, and do some mental and technical training through class sessions. Throughout the season, we hope to win as many tournaments as possible as we pride ourselves in winning. We want to maintain the athletes' health such that they are ready for the Brick Tournament at the end of the season. Again, we want to further develop our team's skills and tactics as the season progresses. A few of the teams we will be playing in the brick tournament, we will also be playing in earlier tournaments. So if we find something is working or not working, we'll want to redevelop the tactics so that we can have continued success. In the postseason, or for us, the brick tournament, our obvious goal is to win and get our athletes the exposure they deserve.
Some of the key dates of our season are as follows. Our season begins with March break, which works really well because it gives us a chance to spend multiple hours with our athletes each day. This is our training camp, and athletes usually come to us around 8 in the morning and leave at about 4. So we have multiple hours, 5 days out of the week, to really work with our athletes. The CCHA Toronto Invitational is our first tournament of the season. This tournament gives us a good indication of where we are as a team going into the season and what we might need to work on moving forward. The Niagara Bauer Hockey Challenge is our first away tournament where we'll be traveling as a team. This will be a good opportunity to set what we expect of our athletes while traveling. We can go over nutrition with them and how we expect them to behave in a hotel, on game day, set curfews, and more. The Montreal Meltdown in June will give us the best representation as to where we are as a team going into the brick tournament, as this tournament usually has many of the brick teams attending. Lastly, we have our brick tournament. This is the pinnacle of our season. This is what our whole season leads up to, and therefore it is the most important part of our schedule.
Without further ado, let's get into the season starting with preseason training. This takes place over March break, which allows us to be with our athletes all day. We consider this to be macrocycle 1 and mesocycle 1, as it is our preseason training. Throughout the day, we have dedicated hours to skating, off-ice training, and class sessions, which we will go into more detail now.
As mentioned, we have all day to spend with these athletes. That allows us to have 3 different 1-hour skating sessions each day, which include skating, shooting, and broken games. In the skating sessions, we're working mostly on multi-directional speed and speed endurance. We train speed endurance by having our athletes skate at top speed for no more than 1 minute at a time. Often, drills will be 30 to 45 seconds, just like a shift in an actual game. We develop their multi-directional speed with varying drills where athletes are forced to move in different directions, starting with the basics and moving to more difficult drills where they have to be attentive and change direction based on other people's movements. We have the goalies participate in skating sessions as well, but they have their own goalie coach, which makes them do movements more specific to their position. In puck sessions, we work on power and whole body speed. Power comes from getting our athletes to shoot as hard as possible, or as we call it, shooting to score, as a harder shot is more likely to end up in the back of the net. The whole body speed training deals with the fact that they will not only have to be shooting or stick handling with a puck stationary, but also while moving their whole body. So, in the same fashion as skating, we start with more basic, stationary drills and move on to more difficult drills with defenders and where they have to move in order to score. With the puck sessions, the goalies work with their goalie coach while we practice stick handling, but they are in the net when shooting drills occur. The last session is broken games, where we teach plays, tactics, and more. We let the athletes perform these in a scrimmage-like fashion, but if we see anything needs to be corrected, we'll blow the whistle and correct them. Now, Lily will tell you more about our dryland sessions.
Off-ice training is key during the preseason to build a seasonal foundation for power, anaerobic lactic stamina, whole body speed and endurance, as well as core strength and stability. We will address each of these components with an exercise program that challenges each one in the training camp. For power, we will choose explosive exercises for the lower body like squats, and body weight exercises with a heavy load on the upper body like push-ups. Sprinting is a key exercise for our off-ice training as it addresses speed, power, and anaerobic lactic stamina, which all fit within the typical 10 to 60 second shift or work time in hockey. Core strength and stability are important as they will improve overall performance and keep our athletes stable under unpredictable ranges of motion during gameplay. Off-ice training will also include an hour of class time each day, an hour devoted to building our athletes' attentional and emotional skills. This is crucial as it prepares athletes to be situationally aware in a game, to make the right play, or to be ready emotionally and not negatively react and lose focus. Class time also addresses the importance of a healthy meal to provide energy and physical strength, especially before gameplay.
So here's an example of an on-ice drill where one player is holding the other player back and they're trying to skate. This forces them to build a lot of strength in their legs as they have to push much harder than what they normally would in order to skate across the ice. This drill takes about 15 seconds as they're not skating very far, but they do have to skate as hard as they can during that time. Here's an example of an off-ice drill that we might do where the coach points one direction or the other, and the player has to shuffle from side to side in accordance to what the coach says. This is going to help with agility and being able to look up and move their feet at the same time, so it's going to help with their coordination as well. It helps with endurance as they have to move side to side, and this will usually go on for about 30 seconds at a time, and then a little bit of rest before they start again. Now we'll get into our in-season. So this takes place between March 23rd and June 21st. It encompasses mesocycles 2 through 14. As you can see, some of the key dates that we have here are April 26th to 26th. That is mesocycle 6, and that is a tournament. Mesocycle 8 has a tournament, and mesocycles 10 through 13 also have tournaments. As you can see, there are certain blocks that are special here, which Lily will talk to you about in a moment's time. With regards to our in-season on-ice training, we wanted to balance the amount of training days to be based on the amount of competitions we have during the week. That being said, as ice is hard to come by in Toronto, we had to book it far in advance. We set the on-ice practice days as Mondays and Wednesdays every week, with the exception of week 11 and 13. Since there are 4 tournaments between weeks 11 and 14, we didn't want our athletes to burn out. So not only did we have less practices over these 4 weeks, but we also decreased the intensity of these practices. Since tournaments occur Fridays to Sundays, our Monday practices are of low intensity. In these Monday practices, we focus on certain aspects of tactics and plays that may not have gone to plan and where we can improve them. This gives us a chance to correct our mistakes with regards to our style of play in the tournament while it's still fresh in everyone's minds. This only happens when tournaments begin, as prior to this, we really don't have much to correct. Therefore, from mesocycles 2 through 5, half an hour of these Monday practices may be working on skills, while the other is still working on developing our tactics and plays. Our Wednesday practices are split into half hour of skating and half hour of puck handling and shooting. This is so the athletes can consolidate their skills throughout the season and maintain their physical abilities. These are often done at higher intensity as they have a day to rest before the tournament begins. Week 14 is of exception. It is done at low intensity and a low workload as we really want to give our athletes a chance to recover before heading into the all-important brick tournament.
The aim for off-ice training during the in-season is to maintain the skills, speed, and strength developed from the preseason. Each workout varies depending on the focus of the workout that session. There is a heavier focus on dry land workouts at the beginning of the season, and as games start to become a part of the schedule, they replace the dry land workouts. Decreasing the number of off-ice workouts allows for us to make sure our athletes are not overloaded or experience athlete burnout. There is an exception during week 14, the first away tournament, when the single off-ice workout includes all the necessary skills and training to be applicable to prepare our athletes for the first serious tournament. In regards to nutrition for this tournament, It is vital that the athletes get the appropriate nutrition. As our athletes are 9 to 10 years old, we generally emphasize on making sure the athletes are consuming a good amount of carbohydrates for pre-game energy and adequate intake of food all around to provide energy and strength. Junk food can be tempting, but is not the food of a champion. Finally, and equally as important, we take the time to review the emotional and attentional control tactics. However, at this point, we can utilize video feedback of our players taken throughout the season. Getting our athletes mentally prepared for anything that could throw them off during gameplay is key to getting them confident to play on the ice.
The last section of our seasonal training plan is the postseason, or the Brick Tournament. Although the tournament starts on the Saturday and lasts a week, we decided to add the entire week of Mesocycle 15 into the postseason, as that last week consists of 2 practices on Monday and Wednesday, with the team flying out on Thursday to Edmonton, where the tournament takes place. So, with that in mind, we'll go into a bit of what these 2 weeks will look like. We have a practice Monday and Thursday where we'll be taking it very easy, just working on tactics and making sure our set plays are perfect going into the tournament. On Thursday, we'll be flying out as a team to Edmonton, so there's a full day in between when we arrive in Edmonton and the first possible game day on Saturday, so our athletes can adjust to the hotel and the time zone change, as Alberta is on Mountain Time. The first possible day for games is on Saturday, so we will be competing in 6 games between Saturday and Wednesday in a round-robin format. There's 2 divisions with 7 teams each, so we'll be playing each team once. After Wednesday, the top 6 teams in the entire tournament move on to the tournament playoffs, with the top-seeded team from each division getting a bye into the semifinals, which occur on Friday. The finals take place on Saturday, and just to reiterate, our main goal for this entire season is to win the Brick Tournament. So we'll be doing everything in our power to win. With that being said, Lily will tell you about some of the expectations that we have for these athletes while at the Brick Tournament.
Outside of the tournament, we have a few expectations of our athletes that still affect their performance during gameplay. Now more than ever, physical health is key. Our athletes require at least 8 hours of sleep and must meet the same previously noted nutritional requirements. With the tournament being held in Edmonton, we all know how exciting it can be for a 10-year-old in West Edmonton Mall. The amusement park, the candy, the junk food, it can be very distracting. This leads into how important it is for our athletes to stay on focus, their attentional behavior. Mental rehearsing of gameplay, visualization of the arena and surrounding players, and team building exercises to solidify the closeness of the team. These will all prepare our athletes to be ready to be under a high amount of pressure and win the Brick Tournament.
Following this season, we would want to reflect on the season that we had and go back to our original goals to see how we accomplished them. So obviously we want to know, how did we do in the tournament? Did we win during the season? Did we win our ultimate goal, which was the Brick Tournament? Did our players develop their skills? Did we see improvement from them from when we first had them in March Break Camp to where they are now? Did we accomplish keeping players happy and healthy? Of course, this is not only for us, but for other stakeholders, including the parents. Did we do a good job of keeping our players healthy so that they could all play in the tournament at the end of the season? And how may we have done things differently? Could we have changed the way that we developed our training plan? Could we have changed how many practices, what kind of practices we had, such that we could have ensured more success? But that all, once again, depends on how our season went. And with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to our seasonal training plan for the 2020 Brick Tournament champion Toronto Bulldogs. Thank you.